I think, and it's just a hunch, I wonder if Hagi starts instead of Conor Barron. And I wonder if he has more disciplined roles for Diomande and Raskin at the base. But that allows Czerny and Hagi to play in more advanced areas, because I think that he's identified, he knows fine well, and he's known it for long enough, that Hagi can be a difference maker in the final third. Barron, for all his work rate and his effort and his tackling, and he'll get himself about, I'm not sure he can be trusted in terms of keeping the ball. Possession-wise, I think he's prone to giving it away. And I think that what you really need, as well as work rate, is technicians. But I also think that Hagi has shown more than capable of putting in a real shift in terms of the work rate and the energy that's required and shutting people down. He's shown a willingness to do it. He's shown he's got the energy to do it. He didn't start at Pittodrie. And that's another reason why I would look at it and say, I think the guys that were going to be starting, almost all of them, apart from Liam Kelly, were left out of that starting 11. And I just see that. I can see how, in terms of, he's looking for a fluidity about his system. And that, either you can tell Hagi to go out in a wider role and help cover the fullback positions, because that's what he did in the first leg, and that allows Czerny to attack from wider areas, or you can have them playing pretty narrow and linking up behind Dessers. I think it's a hunch.
I think it's a possibility, and I know why you're saying that, and there's good reasons for it. But my gut is still that he'll
start more defensively, and then throw Hagi on if he's needing something later on.
And as much as you're saying about Barron maybe being limited in possession, which I think he is, I think he's got more discipline sitting there than Diomande has. I still think Diomande likes to go everywhere, and is a bit, he kind of plays in the cuff as well, and can get, when you're trying to keep a rigid shape and rigid system, I think Diomande's more likely to kind of
I think he's very good in tight areas, keeping the ball, and I think that's what Rangers need to do. So if he is more disciplined and he plays a more defensive role, I think he can give the ball to Diomande with a couple of guys around about him and feel more confident that he'll find a Rangers jersey.
I also think in that role that Andy's talking about, and I agree with Andy on the lineup, that the way Barry played Czerny and Diomande, almost as kind of inside forwards, playing off Dessers, but it takes a lot of work rate to get out and in to cover. And I think he'll think that Diomande's got more energy than Hagi for that role. Hagi's got more flair, obviously.
I thought Hagi's performance in the first leg was all about energy, and he didn't really get a lot of opportunities to get on the ball.
He puts a shift in.
I didn't think creative. He couldn't get into the game. So all he had to do in that first leg was be defensively resilient, disciplined, energetic.
He puts a shift
in.
And
I thought he did a great job covering the fullback.
And I've said that about Hagi ever since he arrived at Rangers. For a foreign player,
a flair player, a creative player,
his work rate is really good. Yeah. But the thing is, Jacko, see, when Barry Ferguson get the job, I thought he would love Hagi, and I thought he would play all the time, but it's not really worked out like that. I've been surprised Hagi's not had a bigger role under Barry Ferguson. I'm almost intrigued. There's been times, even when he's been on the bench, and like Bayrami's come on before him, and
that's a fair point.
So I'm intrigued as to just, is there something within Hagi's game that Barry Ferguson isn't sure about? And obviously, after the league defeat at Ibrox, when he came out and said he had to change it up after the Hibs game, he was going to rip it up and start again, basically, and for the Bilbao game. And obviously, Hagi comes back in, which you kind of expected, and he made the changes. You're right, as he left him out of Pittodrie because he is planning to play him.
I think so.
In the second leg, there's every chance.
But I think that's the telltale sign. I think Barry Ferguson's looking at it going, do you know what, Hagi's a starter.
Because obviously,
Barry starts.
I wonder as well, Keith, if that's
a little bit of a giveaway.
Yeah.
I wonder as well if Hagi's goal actually will kind of solidify his place in the team, because it reminds Barry Ferguson that he's got the work rate, he's got a point to prove. And he can pull a rabbit out of the hat like he did.
And by the way, and do you want my honest assessment, Scott? I think that Barry Ferguson probably sat down with Ianis Hagi when he went in, probably did have a big idea in his head for what he could get out of him, probably had a conversation which led him to believe that Ianis Hagi suspects that the club don't want him. He doesn't feel part of it, that he's not been made to feel wanted. And so maybe if you feel that if there's a commitment issue here, if you think the guy's already got an eye on his next move, I don't know if that's because I don't think he's got a character flaw, Ianis Hagi, in terms of his professionalism. But what I do know is this is the stage for Ianis Hagi. If he does feel that he's going to have to move, that Rangers aren't going to give him a new contract, this is the stage what he can light up. And you know, I think there is some interest in him. I think there's a couple of clubs in Germany that are taking a serious look at him. But if he goes into this stage and performs and lights it up the way that he's certainly got the ability to do it, then who knows? You know, he might be placing himself in a shop window